REBORN, Infinite Game, A Story of the Otherworld Part 1. Continue. The last thing Kaito remembered was a rain, not a dramatic storm, not lightning splitting the sky open, just the ordinary, unglamorous drizzle of a Tuesday evening in Tokyo, the kind that soaks through your jacket before you realize it's happening, because you were too busy staring at your phone to notice the clouds. He had been walking home from his third all-nighter in a row at the game development studio, where he worked as a junior programmer, 23 years old, single, living off convenience store onigiri and canned coffee. His most meaningful relationship in the past 2 years had been with a spreadsheet tracking bug reports. The notification on his phone had been from the game he'd spent 6 years of his life building, Eternal Chronicle Online, a fantasy RPG with a leveling system so complex it had its own Wikipedia page. It had launched 3 weeks ago to moderate reviews and immediate fan backlash over the monetization model, none of which Kaito had designed. He was just the guy who wrote the underlying stat calculation engine. He looked up from the screen for exactly 1 second. 1 second to see the truck. 1 second that was, by any reasonable measure, 1 second too late. And then, darkness. Not the kind of darkness you find in a room with the lights off. The absolute kind. The kind that has weight. The kind that presses against your eyes and reminds you that seeing is something your body does, not something the universe provides. Kaito floated in it for what felt like a very long time. Then a sound, a chime, clean, digital, oddly familiar, ding, and then light. The light was green, not the sickly green of fluorescent lighting or the warm green of a forest. Pure, luminous, electric green, the exact shade he'd spent 3 months selecting for the UI of Eternal Chronicle Online. The color of a system notification. Words materialized in the air in front of him, floating, glowing, three-dimensional, in a font he recognized because he had personally specified it in a design document dated 18 months ago. System notification. A new soul has been detected. Performing compatibility scan. Scan complete. Welcome, Kaito Nishimura. You have been selected for reincarnation. Your unique cognitive profile, classified as game architect, has been matched to a world that requires your particular skill set. The Eternal Chronicle system has been assigned to you as a life companion. Will you accept? Yes. No. Kaito stared at the floating text for a long moment. Then, because he was a programmer, and therefore constitutionally unable to leave a prompt unanswered, he said, "What happens if I click no?" A pause. The text shimmered. Clicking no simply delays the process. The answer is still yes. He almost laughed. Of course it is. He reached out. His hand, or whatever served as his hand, in this space between spaces, touched the glowing yes button. The green light exploded. He was born screaming, which was, he supposed, traditional. The ceiling above him was rough-hewn stone. The air smelled of wood smoke and something herbal, almost medicinal. A woman's face appeared over him, wide, exhausted eyes, dark hair plastered to her forehead with sweat, an expression of fierce and overwhelming love that Kaito, even in the confused animal state of newborn consciousness, somehow understood was directed at him. His mother, his new mother. He couldn't speak, couldn't hold a thought for more than a few seconds. Infancy was, he discovered, as cognitively unpleasant as it looked. His memories of his former life floated at the edge of his awareness like fragments of a half-remembered dream, present but slippery, impossible to hold. The system, however, was very much present. Every time he managed to focus his infant eyes on anything, the stone ceiling, the wooden cradle, his mother's face, the rough-spun wool of his blanket, he could see it. A faint green shimmer at the edge of his vision, patient, waiting. It was waiting for him to grow up enough